Don't blink, it's your body. Welcome to the show. We're doing well. Having a wonderful day on this 3rd July 2025. We missed it. We missed the beginning of the rain. We were making a TikTok live 20 minutes ago. And then I had to go in to clean a bit of dishes. And I come back and it's raining hard. It's raining mad hard, bruh. So what I'm going to do, which is actually quite simple, simple-minded, simple, is I'm going to be filming the rain. And we're going to make some content. So enjoy. I got 2 twin Glock turning to a ransom. Trying to get the whoa, I ain't one. Sheesh. There you go. Are they ready for the contents? Let's fucking go. Don't blink, it's your body. Welcome to the show. Guys are doing well. Guys are having a wonderful day on this 3rd July 2025. Today we're talking about a subject that I don't want to talk about at all. But I feel like it's part of our life. I feel like it's part of everybody's life. Today we're talking about mortality. Not my own mortality, my parents' mortality. Lately, and again, it's a very weird subject to bring up. It's a very, very weird subject. Lately, my parents, who actually don't talk to each other, they barely talk. I've been talking about mortality a lot, both of them. Talk about, well, what I'm going to do with when they die, with the estate, with the legacy, with the inheritance. And then they're really worried about it, right? Now, usually, in my own perception, I am pretty lucky in my unluckiness. I have never dealt with mortality. I've dealt with people dying. My grandma, but my grandma, I haven't seen her in 3 years, and so far I've never had like a really close person to me die. So when I was younger, when I was 22, my best friend committed unalive himself. But even then, it's not a concept of mortality. It's a concept of he chose to go. So it's not like, okay, oh shit happened. It's a context of you have to respect his decision, right? You can disagree with him, you can disagree with what he did, you can be mad at the person because of what he did, but at the end, it is their choice, and either you respect it or either you don't. And if you don't, well, it's kind of shitty because you don't honor the dead by, for example, somebody died and like, okay, well, I don't like the way you died, dude, honor his memory. He's not there to defend himself. He's not there to defend his action. So just, it's kind of complex. I never had to deal with mortality. And then again, I'm going to be looking like the worst of assholes. I don't know, sadly, very sadly speaking, I don't know a lot of people that would die and I would be super sad. My circle is actually quite small, but my parents, if they would die, and I never thought about this because, again, I wasn't faced before with mortality. The person that affected me the most by dying was over 10 years ago, right? I had a dog, he died, but a dog, you know, is gonna die, For example, at the end of the dog, he wasn't healthy, he wasn't able to hold and remove. It's like, okay, there's not a lot. Look at this shit. This is actually bad. You see this and this is more dark, so there's more, it's filled with rain. I'm looking for thunder today. I'm not sure we're gonna get that. So yes, mortality, I never crossed a factor. It hasn't been a factor to me. And I have amazing parents. You guys see my father often, you guys see my mom often. I have amazing parents, and in their discussion of will and testament and shit like that, I have to admit, I wasn't comfortable when they talked about it. My mom was just like, hey, you need to be trained for that. My father was like, and then my mom said, you need to be trained for that. And then I told my dad, what do you think about that? And he was like, yeah, she's right. I was like, oh shit. He says, I don't know what to do with you either when you die. And I was like, you don't really have to worry about it. You're not gonna die tomorrow. And because I haven't really thought about my parents' mortality, even though it's upcoming, um, they're pretty old. My mom is 67. My dad is 67. Um, my dad is April 58, which would put him first older, and my mom is August 58, which would make her second. So January, February, March, April 4 versus 8 for June for August. Because it's June 6th, July 7th, and August 8th. Yeah. So how do I feel about it? You see, we're talking about the mortality, and I was very uncomfortable, and I was like, I don't like talking about that. And I was like, okay, well, it's money. You talked about money before. And then I was like, why are you so comfortable? And then the truth hit me like a brick. Because it's your pandemic you talk about. It's not something that's taken lightly. And then there's a lot of realization. Like, for example, my father was talking about life insurance and how it was made to pay for, it was made for the coffin. And I never really thought about that. The estate, the complication, right? I am lucky for my dad because my dad has a girlfriend and she is going to be taking care of a lot of stuff. With my mom, she didn't have a boyfriend, she didn't have a husband. She kind of up to me to take care of this, you know. And of course, she never wanted to talk about this. You never want to think about it. You never want to think about your parent dying. One of the worst things you can talk about, to be honest. But at the same time, we know it's a possibility. So, for the first time today, and of course, this is not true. Of course, you think about your parent dying. You think about your parent dying, but today was the first time that I'm like, yo, well, what's next? You know? And I'm close to my parents. I'm extremely close to my parents. Now, technically speaking, I was very cuddled when I was younger. I'm the only child, so of course I get more attention. And with both parents, we're close. I'm very close to my mom. I'm very close to my dad. Like my mom, we'll talk for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And I won't even see it. My father, oh my God, I saw my father this morning. I went to his house. It was 8:27 to be exact. I left the house. It was 11:15. So both yappers. So yeah, it was interesting. But I'm left with a feeling of uncertainty, you know. And then there's a lot of things that I'm missing. For example, there's a sentence that I think a lot of people will refer to, which is who is the man of the house? Since it's a pretty broken house, there's no need for a man. But not because there's no need for a man. There's not a man. My father was the oldest of a sibling, so when it came to a decision, he was in charge. My grandparents, my grandfather, the father of my father, was an alcoholic. And very early on, my father was in charge because my grandfather couldn't take charge. I had my grandma. Back in the days, we're talking about the 50s, we're talking about the 60s. Women didn't really have a role. I think it's all depending on where you're from, but in Montreal, a lot of women did work. A lot of women were housewives. You know, good job, you know? So then, monetary-wise, when my father did this stuff, my father had a good job. And then the coolest thing that happened is, kind of everybody came up with something. So my uncles went to work, my aunts went to work. My grandma never had any trouble. Now, could I have parents that are so kind of well off? My mom is not really well off. She's making a decent salary. However, my mom, she's good with money. She's really good. She'll do some investment. She'll do. See, this is kind of crazy. This is kind of crazy. My mom. You would think when you know my parents, you think my father's better with money. My father was better with money only because he doesn't spend. He doesn't spend, which is there's no inner value. But my mom will be able to do more with the money that she has versus my father. You know. So yeah, so that was kind of. You know, it was like, why are they insisting about money? And it was their way to kind of take care of me after they're dying, even though it's not the same thing, you know. It's rough. It's really rough. It's really, really rough because you don't really deal with mortality, right? The first thing with mortality is taking care of stuff. Like, for example, oh, this is my boy and he died. You're gonna tell his wife, you're gonna tell his kids. oh, my boy died. Well, he'll lose his job. There's a lot of things that he's not gonna be able to use. There's a funeral to kind of take care of. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. You don't really think about it. You don't really think about it, and it's such a taboo to have that you don't want to think about your parent dying, but they'll die eventually. So for me, and the weirdest thing is because my mom, my father and I were very vulnerable. We talk a lot, right? We don't get in subject, we don't get in conversation of deep stuff. It'll be normal talk like, hey, they raise the price, they raise the price of this and what's going on in the world and things like that. We don't talk about like politics, we don't talk about religion, we don't talk about something that are, deep subject or deeper subject. So then my mom had the bravado to tell me to talk about that. And because my mom had the bravado to talk about that, my father was like, oh, she's right, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, since when do you feel this way? And he's been like, oh, it's been a couple of years and I'm worried that you don't know what to do when I'm dying. It's been a couple of years, but he didn't talk about it, But you guys know that. If you've been following the channel, you know that my father's not really good at expressing himself or talking about emotion. It's fear. It's fear. And for him, fear is being weak. My mom, fear is a problem that you need to solve. My father is, no, I gotta talk about my fears, Yes, I talk about death, and, of course, I'm not gonna die tomorrow, but I never really, thought about that. And I'm like, I was a bit ashamed today because we were talking about life insurance, and I never had a conversation about life insurance. I had the sex talk, the birth and beast talk, but I didn't have the life insurance talk. I was a bit ashamed because I had a pretty simple lifestyle. I live a really simple lifestyle, a really simple lifestyle. I have a crazy simple lifestyle. All I need to take care of are the bills, my rent. I need to work enough to make enough money to survive. But as long as I make enough to survive and I pay my rent and my bills, I'm good. I don't care about anything else. If I had kids, then I would say, okay, well, I take them to kids. I have to take them to school. If I had kids, well, my son is complaining that his clothes, he don't like his clothes, so I gotta buy him new clothes, With me, when he came in today in the life, TikTok life, I was like, you should trim your mustache and your hair, it should look better. And I'm like, it's a good idea, but I don't need to please people. The way I look is, I'm not trying to impress people. That's what I'm trying to say. But then he was, in one sense, he was right. How you present yourself is important. I never really cared about that. I never really cared about that. I never really cared about death. There's a lot of things that I didn't care about, that I chose to forego, that I chose to ignore. And it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. You don't want to think about that. And even with my mom and with my stepmom, it's not fair. Because if I'm dying, if my father dies, she knows she will take care of it. But the reality is, can she take care of it because they don't think I'm able to take care of shit? Does she feel obligated to take care of shit because I cannot take care of shit? That's the problem. Is that the problem? I don't know. With my mom is normal. My mom, she's always been coming up, she's always been mama bear. It's more so like, hey, you don't need to worry about a single thing. I'll take care of everything. But then it raises the question: are you able to take care of shit? Are you able to take the lead if need be? I don't know. I don't know. There's a problem because you should be able to take care of that. I don't want to I want to force people to take care of shit because I'm not able to, and I just didn't think about it. Yes, there's a shame in that. There's a lot of shame. Do I purposely avoid death? Possibly. Who knows? Subconsciously speaking, you can do a lot of things. My parents had me very old. They had me at 35 years old. When I had my kids at 35 or 40, I don't know. And I think as a kid, I was made aware my parents were older. I think most people die by old age. I don't know. You know? I'm 67. In 3 years. I'm gonna be 70. Think about that. It's crazy. 10 years. I'm gonna be almost 80. Of course, yeah, I think it's what I'm gonna be in 10 years. I don't know. I don't know. But in 10 years, I'm most likely dead. No? And the thing mortality is actually special because no matter what, they're gonna die. There's a reality. What I'm gonna say is gonna be horrible, but when my dog died, I was really sad because I was like, okay, well, he's old. You know, my parents, I love them. I love them more than my dog for sure, but it's the same mentality. Well, they were old, so we knew we didn't have a lot of time left. It was kind of to be expected, I don't know. And I got extremely lucky because both my parents are healthy. A lot of people at 67 aren't healthy. I got lucky. What if they weren't healthy? Would I be ready for them? I don't know. What I have to do, I have to start doing some research on life insurance and how it works. I have to take care of what I have to learn what to take care of when people die. And even I mentioned people die. My grandma. You think I had to take care of shit? No. My best friend. You think I had to take care of shit? No. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. Sorry if it's a bit bleak, but mortality, right? Don't blink, yes you blink. Welcome to the show. You guys are doing well because I'm having a wonderful day. On this 3 July 2005. Fun fact, if you guys came in 2 minutes earlier, you would have seen the rain. You can even hear the rain right now. Today, we're talking about part 2 of our Squid Game series. We just finished episode number 2. I'm gonna get into it with season 1, episode number 3. Because I like to talk and it's gonna take a while. Now, just a little side note. It's been more than expected because episodes are an hour 10, an hour 15 compared to 50 minutes, right? So there's a lot more to talk about. Of course, I didn't start my computer because I don't do shit I don't plan. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Episode suivant, in French. So the next episode, which is season 1, episode 3, it's the man with the umbrella. You guys remember we are in the city. The game had been cancelled, and now we don't know what to do. So do we see? Oh, lighting is not great. The lighting isn't great. Wait a second, what? Give me a second. I got a message. Okay. already see. Mm. Mm. It's chocolate response to the message. So here we are. Guess that we started. However, now the people are more ready. So homie with a tattoo brought his crew. The girl with the brother, she brought a knife. We have the number of play that came back. And the number of play that came back is 187. We're at 201, which means that 25 people said, no, I'm not coming back. So you have a lot lower people. Look at the prize money. It is 26 billion yen. 26 billion, which is crazy, isn't it? We have some familiar faces. And what the cool thing is, you can kind of start making it. So the plot, having it break, is actually pretty nice because it gives the time to people to digest, but it also gives the player time to kind of podcast the plan. Now, without knowing, okay, nice. I thought I was not recording. Without knowing the next game, it's a bit harder, but still. So now they're starting to get themselves in a pair. So because they're strength in number. Now all of this, spoiler, is before there's infighting. So you guys know that there's infighting because it's a game where the last person alive get the prize money. So killing people would actually be better. So now we start infighting. We form groups. Now the cool thing is, this guy comes back and he's after the girl because she owe him money. And the first thing she does is she brought a knife to her. She brought a knife. It's super fucking funny because we see the personality of people, and technically speaking, the other tattoo is the strong one. So what are you doing? Are you struggling to get a strong one? Are you right away going for a strong one, or are you preferably in a group that you like? So we have the meals. The meals which is here are kind of cool. Look at this. Look at this. Some rice, omelet. Nice meal. I might try it again myself. But it's actually pretty simple. We have the old man who needs more food to survive. People decide to give him a bit of food, which is the group. And the group that we have Ji-hoon, we have his friend, we have the old man, we have Sunny. Oh, also, the police officer that we had, his brother, actually made it to the island. He made it to the island, so he's infiltrating this. Now, the reality is, he knows so little about the game, so it seems the brothers might be alive, but it's not. There's no proof that he's alive, and he wants to know more about the Squid Games. So he has his room. Now, what is actually cool with this is, you're gonna get the, it's cool but not great. You're gonna get the, what it would be to be like a worker there. Why is it not great? Because you don't get enough information. The information that you do get is not enough. So for example, there's a guy that's gonna be coughing, you're gonna have a Morse code, there's a couple more people that are, they're all, it's weird. How do I say this? They're all kind of oh, actually. Because you have one guy with a mask, and everybody else is unknown. Now, you have the front one which faces revealed, but that's much later on. See what people brought? People start preparing. So this girl, what she brought some cigarettes, right? Some cigarettes would be kind of a dumb move to do, However, in a perfect world, the cigarettes are like a prison. So you, because you have cigarettes, you're kind of, you kind of have something to monetize. So for example, I don't know, there's a really strong group, and they say, hey, don't go after me, I'll give you my cigarettes. It's a good bargaining tool. Now the question is, how far can you get with bargaining? People brought, the other girl who brought a knife can defend herself. She doesn't need people to rely on. The problem with the cigarettes and bargaining is it's only good as the offer. If people offer you shit, you get shit. And then they're worthless, you know? Versus a knife, which is a bit more practical. Now she get caught, of course, but people will see her. Now what is kind of cool is you're seeing a lot of what's going on. For example, you see people cooking. You see the girl with the knife, the younger one. She goes in and she is able to traverse because she goes into the vents, which is actually kind of freaking nice. I say, why is it nice? Because you're in a Squid Game and you have two choices. Either you just follow the rules, either you just follow what you do, or actually partake in the story. And if you partake in the story, it's more so a question of, okay, well, I know this is the game, but what I do in between. And the important part of this Squid Game is the series, like 9 episodes, that's an hour long each. But there's 4 games. So the first game is green light, red light, green light. There's tug of war. There is the licking of a candy, and then there's invisible floor. And that's pretty much it. So then we had a team, and some of the smartest already understand that we do a lot of in killing, which is possibly why the girl she did it's possibly why the girl I can't say that. She brought a knife, I guess. It's not clear if she brought a knife because the guy with the tattoo is gonna be there or her. Now this is a really cool scene. So Jihan, main character, like I kind of have milk, right? And then the guy behind him, the whole name's like, my son doesn't want milk either. Now the cool thing is, this information is actually really important, really, really important. So the cool thing is, the guy with the glasses, which is as smart as the gang, he said the girl is alone. Now he sees this as a possibility, but a lot of things. He's as smart as the gang, and he wants to survive. So you know that. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. You're a group of 5, right? You got an old man, you got the main character, you got Ali, and you got him. He thinks, I think because he's as honest, I think he already figured out the infighting. I'm only repeating myself a lot, but I don't think people regard this as important. Of course, it has less theater as the game, of course. But at the same time, it is a reason for other people to die. Like, for example, you know the craziest thing? You know the craziest thing? There's a night, right? I'm gonna spoil it. There's a night where there's a lot of people fight and kill each other, right? And then the VIP, which are the people behind it, they're behind the game. What they do is they calculate that people are gonna kill each other. I got a text. Okay. The text. I got a text. She's fucking cute. I could give her a shout out that she's married, so that's not Philippines. That's pretty much it. Get a second game, and you see here is actually quite cool because the approach her is like, yo, you're gonna be alone, you're gonna be okay, you need to come with us, you need to stay with us. A lot of people don't like him. I don't even know his name, I'm sorry. The reason people don't like him is at the end, he acts for himself. But as long as the other people were useful to him, he protected them, he protected their interests. So it's not so much about what he did that was wrong, it's about that he didn't think about other people at the end. But at the same time, he did what everybody else would have done. Like for example, right, essentially that, I'm going to split it a little bit. The first thing that he does is betray Ali. And then because we like Ali, like, oh my god, you're such a monster. But in the very same episode, we got the old man being betrayed. And then in the same episode, the young girl with the knife, she betrays the people. The 3 people that survived, they betrayed somebody. There was the price to pay. Because he does it more coldly, you know? the other girl's like, okay, wait, well, I don't mind dying. You can go ahead. And then with the old man, it's not really his fault. Because you get a little bit of Alzheimer. Or pretend he doesn't have Alzheimer. He pretends like he has Alzheimer. So the guy's like, oh wow, I just lied. I didn't really use you. Which again, super shitty. Are you still uploading? I have to make sure of that. I'm still uploading. And I'm at 47. Okay. It's about 6 gigs left, or it's about 20 minutes. Because of that, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have enough battery to keep recording. This is one of the coolest fucking games. And this is the very first like moments where it's a bad thing. So here you have a game like that, right? What you have is a little bit of a circle with sugar, and you're shaping the sugar. You're shaping the sugar. So having the sugar, you have to take care of the shape, right? And if you can take care of the shape, then you're winning. The problem here is the smart guy, the son of the girl with the fish market. He discovered a game. He doesn't warn his friends. So he understands like, okay, well, I know what's up. I know what's up. And because I know what's up, I should tell people. He doesn't do it. Now this is the coolest thing. This thing is actually really, really important. Really important. We have a backflash of them creating the candy. And the backflash of them creating the candy is really important because we set up at the first show. So when you see the first show, you see the backflashes, the first episode, you see the backflashes, and you don't really remember. Look at this, look at this. No? There you go. It's a Korean candy. Yeah, I guess that. So he recognizes that. He recognizes it. And it's really cool because he recognizes it. And because he has this vision of black and white, you think that the first episode, the vision of black and white is him. But it's not him. It's the old man, which is also super important. So he knows what's up, and he doesn't tell. So then he tells Ji-hoon, what are you going to take? And everybody wants to take the circle because it's the easiest. But since they don't know what the game is, Ji-hoon takes the umbrella, and the umbrella is the worst. Now, to his defense, the smart guy understands what he did was wrong. So you kind of feel apologetic after that. Now this is one of my favorite episodes. Because, again, I'm going to spoil it for season 2. Season 2 is like... No, I can't spoil it. It's too much. Ji-hoon remembered this. He remembered the what to do. It's actually really good. Really good. Now we have the first guy who made a mistake and breaks the thing. So we have 5 shapes. The first shape is a star, circle, umbrella, and yeah. So somebody, like for example, they broke the umbrella or they broke the circle. They get killed. So a lot of people die from it. Now this is super fucking nice. So the girl that brought the cigarettes, she brought a lighter, and then what I was talking about is exactly what happened. What she does is she burns the end. So this is kind of like caramel. So because it's hotter, she's able to pierce it nicer. You know? Everybody gets it except for the guy with the umbrella because it's a bit harder. Now, there's a couple of things here that are super important. The main character is going to figure out a way to do it. And because of him, everybody's going to copy him because he found a super successful way to do it. So because they copy him, a lot more people survive. We kind of fuck up the game. Second of all, we have the police officer who infiltrated the organization, so he's wearing a mask. Because he's wearing a mask, he doesn't understand how it works. So the mask, how it works is circle have a certain obligation or task. The triangle have a certain task, and the square have a certain task. Doesn't know, so he gets in trouble right away, and he doesn't know who got him in trouble. So we're suspicious. Now, one of the most important part is possibly this. So this guy, I'm gonna show you. This guy with glasses. This guy, super important. Let's see. He doesn't follow it. So what this guy is a doctor. So this guy, what he does It's to finance the game. What they do is they have the body, and they get the organ off the body. If they get the organ, they can sell it. So this guy's a doctor, and what his job is he has more. What should we call it? What should I call it? He takes care of the organs, and in return, what he gets is he gets the hints at what the next game is, and he gets more food. So it's a big advantage, right? Which kind of makes the game kind of not fair, but still. Yeah, you get a main character who succeeds into doing so everybody follows him, which is kind of cool. And you got the biggest mindfuck of the season. And the biggest mindfuck of the season is you get killed. Everybody gets killed, right? Everybody gets killed. And one of the guy, he's